Hey, what's going on? It's Ben from Stillwork, back at you again with some Waves tune tutorials. What we're looking at here today is a song called Barren Heart by the band Titlefall. And I think this is a typical scenario for a lot of metal music where you're doing screaming verses and singing choruses. So let's take a look at the scale tool in tune today and see how we can make that work for us in this chorus. Okay, so let's take a look at the song here in context. I'll play a little bit of the screaming verse into the singing chorus right here.
Sing a chorus, sing a song, please tell me why. I need to remind you of the barren heart inside me, decaying the message. I pulled the strings to gain advantage.
Okay, so you can hear a little bit of grit happening there in the chorus, and that may complicate our detection algorithm because of the harmonics. For a quick review here, depending on your DAW, you can see I'm working in Samplitude here on Windows. You may need to add a rewire plugin. That's something you have to do in Pro Tools. I'm going to do it here just for example. And then you're going to want to add your Waves Tune plugin as the very first insert on your track. Then we need to analyze our section first before we can do any pitch correction. Let's analyze that.
I need to remind you of the barren heart inside me, decaying the message. I pulled the strings to gain the advantage. I never thought I'd lose control, when in the end it never mattered.
Okay, so with that section analyzed, we're going to take a look at our display here, and we can see that we have an octave jump here. We have a couple of stray artifacts happening in just a few spots there. So again, if you review my quick and dirty Waves tutorial, you'll know that what we want to do on these sections is select them using our mouse like this, highlighting the item, and then we're going to use this clear selection. I'm going to use that, clear, select it, and clear. Then we're going to use our range tool here to keep this inside of the range of the actual vocals and prevent it from jumping up. Now you can also drag over here on the keyboard display and you can manually move your range as you need it. So let's reanalyze those sections. Because I'm inside of my Waves plugin here, my DAW will sync to the position and I can control the timeline from in here.
When in the end it never mattered.
Okay, so now I have reanalyzed those sections and I'm back at the correct tuning. I can now turn off my range, or I can adjust it using my keyboard parameters so it's inside of what we're working with. Okay, so let's talk about the scale. What we've got in Waves is the ability to select the scale down here under the segmentation. And what that's going to do is a combination of two things. There is a tolerance of how close it is to the notes of that scale, and that's going to prevent us from jumping in and out of some of these small sections like this that may be chromatic and force it to key a little bit more. Again, we're not talking about auto-tune here, and that's not what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve a natural in-key vocal. If you don't know the key of the song, or you're not knowledgeable in music theory, that is something that we could cover in a different video. I'm sure there's plenty of resources out there. If you're writing the song, you may know the key. The key may come as part of the MIDI files or part of a text document inside of the materials that you get from the band. Or you can pop up a piano or a guitar and figure out the key yourself, or look at the notes here and kind of determine what key that sits in. In this particular song, we're working in the key of B minor. So what we're going to do is select all. It's going to grab all of our segments, and we're going to apply a key of B minor. As we do this, this is B natural minor, you're going to see some of the segmentation change and tighten up to the key. Now we can also take our tolerance and increase this, or reduce it, and that's going to change how closely the tuning algorithm matches the center points of those notes. Let's increase this to 25. And let's take a listen back to this section.
I need to remind you of the barren heart inside me, decaying the message, not hold the strings to gain the advantage.
This note 2 right here, you can see is jumping up to the A from the G. Now when you're working with a key, sometimes you have half step or whole step jumps that the tolerance is going to shift where that note wants to lie. What we can do is select this note, all the segments that are included in that note. I'm actually going to go all the way down here and grab this overtone as the note falls off there, and let's use our tolerance adjustment to see if we can tune that back into the correct note. If we use a high tolerance, you can see it jumps back down to the G. If we lower that, you're going to see at one point it pops up to the A. At the default tolerance setting, you're going to see it kind of follows the cadence of the natural pitch on that note. You can see it's almost exactly where the natural pitch was. Now we can use some of our tools here. We can move some of our segments around to change how we want that to follow the note. Tighten it up like that. We can grab this front end block and pull the front of the pitch down. We can grab all of them and use one of our, the speed is how fast it's going to start applying the pitch correction. The note transition is going to change how these segments follow when they change notes. And the ratio is going to take the total correction and bias it between the original and the corrected note. So if we jump back to our previous selection and we tune this tightly into around 54, it's going to put us back at the right note. Let's take a listen to what that sounds like. Okay, so we've got one more section of this chorus to take a listen to. Let's play that back and see what we hear. Okay, so we have one note in there which could be improved. That's the way that this note comes into this note, and this one's not quite getting onto pitch. I'm going to select the top of this note, and we're going to try to bring that a little bit closer into pitch. I'm going to take the transition, reduce that a little bit, and that's going to bring that peak of the note right up to pitch. So this one segment here is also a little bit sharp. For that one, let's try manually moving our segment down, and then let's adjust our note transition and our ratio. That sounds like a little bit too much of a jump. So let's try increasing that ratio again and adjusting our transition to bring it a little more sharp. Okay, let's move on to the second chorus right over here. We're going to need to analyze that. I'm opening up my Waves tune.
I need to remind you, love
Now, because we have the key and scale selected before we analyzed this chorus, the segmentation is automatically going to follow our prior settings. So the first chorus we analyzed chromatic, and then we applied the scale afterwards by selecting all and choosing the scale. The second chorus, we were able to analyze at the key of B natural minor by choosing the scale first and analyzing second. Let's take a listen to what we've got.
I need to remind you, love the barren heart inside me. Decaying the message, not pulled the strings to gain the advantage. I never thought I'd lose control, when in the end it never mattered.
Okay, so that sounds pretty good right off the bat. We've got those two small sections that we adjusted before. This note here. And going back, we want the peak of this also to hit the top. That might sound funny there. That looks a little bit too tight. It's not bad. We'll live with it for now. This 2. I'm going to choose that one to be the G. Multi-select after moving the segment down. And I'm just going to adjust the note transition to tighten that a little bit closer to the note. Let's take a listen. And then we have a small difference at the front end of each of these choruses. So that's something that is pretty cool, and it could be left in. It makes the choruses different. It's a little bit of a different melody. What we have here is a B as opposed to a, and we could change that. Even this one's still a little bit sharp. Let's bring that one down using our note transition. So that's a personal choice. You can do what you'd like with the melody as far as changing it or correcting it. I think it's just a matter of listening through with your own ears and determining what sounds natural, what the vocalist's intention was, and what sounds best with the music. But there's an example of using our key selection to very quickly correct this chorus into the correct key of the song. In another video, we'll take a look at creating doubles and harmonies using that corrected vocal, as well as bringing in some of the other elements of this song. If this video helped you out in any way, or if there's something that you're looking for that I could go over, shoot me a message here in the comments and let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.